a tremendous amount of money paid to me, never to be seen in a piece of Rawlings equipment. Anyway, what I want
in true Bob Uecker self-deprecating form, that is a moment from Bob Uecker's monologue when he hosted Saturday Night Live. And to talk about that episode, please welcome my guest from Wasn't That Special? 50 Years of SNL, the podcast, co-host Scott Bertram. Scott, how are you?
Sandy, I'm well. Thanks so much for having me tonight.
And I am assuming that you have seen that episode in its entirety when Bob Uecker hosted. That was a 10th season. That was ages ago.
Yes, the 10th season, 1984. That was the Superstar season with Dick Ebersol the year before Lorne Michaels came back. So Martin Short and Billy Crystal and Christopher Guest and Julia Louis-Dreyfus and others. And Bob Uecker hosted the second show of that season, October 13th of 1984.
Wow. And now when I watched the clip today in preparation for our conversation, it was interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Bob Uecker ever even mildly uncomfortable. And it was just like, wow, he's standing out on stage and it seemed like he was truly performing, not just like, hey, I'm the guy. Like it seemed like it was concentration for him.
Yes, I'm glad you said that because I noticed that too back when we watched that episode. This is not his first rodeo. He'd been on the Tonight Show plenty of times. He'd done a bunch of Miller Lite ads by this point. 1984 was the same year, I believe, as his famous "Looks like I'll be in the front row" ad. So he had done all of that already and still had Major League and Mr. Belvedere to come. But he, for good portions of this episode, seems somewhat subdued and a little uncomfortable at times. And I don't know if that's because he's among these, even at that point, kind of superstar comedic people around him, or it's live television. It's different than shooting a commercial or something like even the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson was on tape, right? So, but you could feel, I think it was important for him to do well on SNL.
That's a perfect way to capture it. Yeah, I felt like he really wanted to do well. Like he knew that this was important, that he, just wasn't a walk in the park. So, but you're right. Boy, Carson hundreds of times, and this is still what kind of made him nervous. But, it was funny to go back. Watching one of the sketches, I'll share a little bit. This is a sketch of Bob Uecker playing Billy Crystal's dad. And and Billy Crystal as the son is getting cut from the Little League. Here's a portion of that clip.
Look, your mother and I think it's best and for the team too, if you leave the house.
Where do I go? What do I do?
Well, you're going to be with the Martin family. We've optioned you.
But Dad, you know what? Maybe it's just a slump. I'm in a slump, Dad.
It's not a slump, Billy. Hey, when you're 8 years old, it could be a slump, okay? You're 12. You've peaked. You've had it.
Oh. And there's Bob Uecker in his bronze satin jacket. So it really is a time capsule to watch a Saturday Night Live from 1984. What else do you know about maybe how he got cast or any other nuggets from that appearance?
As I mentioned, it's 84, so I would imagine that in part it's because those Miller Lite ads were becoming ubiquitous, and he was becoming well known for those as well around that time. This Uecker episode, again, the second of the season, and the interesting part of the episode is he is the anchor for what at that point was Weekend Update. So under Dick Ebersol, they tried a number of different things with Weekend Update, and they actually renamed it twice, too. By this point, it was something called Saturday Night News, and for this season 10, they had dropped the idea of having the same anchor every week for Weekend Update or Saturday Night News. So you had someone different each week. So the first episode, Julia Louis-Dreyfus hosted, and the third episode, Jesse Jackson hosted Saturday Night News. And for episode 2, it was the guest host. It was Bob Uecker sort of doing his shtick as he was hosting Weekend Update, or as they called it then, Saturday Night News. So he is one of the few people, and most of them happened that year, who was not an SNL cast member who got the chance to host the Weekend Update, news portion of the program. He did okay. It's not, I'll say this, if you go back and watch, it's not the best episode ever. There's a good open where Martin Short does a Robin Williams impression. Bob Uecker does another sketch where he plays a gullible cop, and Christopher Guest is conning him to say all these things in the Lost and Found are his, and Uecker believes him. He does this thing with Harry Shearer at the end of the night where he does the goodbyes for the show as baseball announcers, so right in his element. So there are portions in there where Uecker sort of pops out. Overall, it's not, the best episode in the world, though.
Wasn't that special? 50 years of SNL podcast co-host Scott Bertram. Thank you for bringing us insights on the one and only time that Uecker hosted SNL.
My pleasure, Sandy. Thanks so much for having me.
We'll continue our celebration of Bob Uecker next on What's on Tap.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
A judge now ordering police officers back into Milwaukee Public Schools, and the deadline is February 17th.
Eric Billstad.
The first wave of 1,500 active duty military personnel could be headed to the U.S.-Mexico border today.
And traffic with Debbie Lozica.
We have a crash on the ramp from St. Paul Avenue to westbound 94.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ.
So how do you underpromise and still get the job? We believe in our hearts we're going to do great work for you. We're just really careful about making unrealistic promises. At Semper Fi, we refuse to set the bar higher than we can jump. But be assured, that's the goal. To do all we can to jump as high as possible to try to exceed your expectations. We're looking to break records. That's how you win over customers, get really great referrals, and build a great business. When you're making a decision to hire an exterior remodeling company, character, integrity, and the feeling that the people you're about to hire are truly eager to show you how good they are should stand at the top of your list. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, protection and income are the keys to success. Simply put, if you're nearing or in retirement, you can't afford a stock market crash. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game film was a key to success. Now I'm a best-selling author and star in a new groundbreaking documentary film called The Retirement Deception. It unveils how the Wall Street machine has been deceiving us for decades and proves you don't need to risk your nest egg in the market to have the retirement you deserve. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. I want you to watch this film for free. Call today for your free copy of The Retirement Deception. I think you would agree 30 to 40 years of saving for retirement is at least worth a phone call to watch this film and see how you can improve your retirement. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free copy of The Retirement Deception. Call 844-763-2837. That's 844-763-2837. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
This is What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx.
Swinging fly ball in the right center. Broxton is there, and they're the champions.
Ford C. Frick Hall of Famer Bob Uecker, the legend who has been calling Milwaukee Brewers games since 1971. And our beloved Bob passed away after a private battle with small cell lung cancer. God bless him. Strong man. Lived to the age of 90. He would have turned 91 next Saturday. And we are spending love, time, and energy paying tribute to Bob Uecker on WTMJ. You can text the word Bob to our WTMJ Sighting Unlimited talk and text line 855-616-1620. Text Bob and we'll send you back a link. You can see all the coverage we've done so far and podcasts and catch up on interviews. My Good Karma Brands teammate Jared Yuhan has been on the sales side of the Brewers Radio Network for about 15 years. And I asked Jared his thoughts on Bob Uecker and his experience working with Uecker.
Bob Uecker is an absolute, the best that ever did it, and the best that there ever was. And I put him in the realm of he's the last of the legends. And what I mean by that is there was Jack Buck, Cardinals, there was Ernie Harwell of the Tigers, there was Harry Carey of the Cubs, and of course Vin Scully of the Dodgers. I put him right there with that. Bob Costas is a legend in his own right, but I'm talking about guys who just had one team that they called the play-by-play, and that was him. My early memories of Bob, I was 11 in 1992, Robin Yount's 3000th hit. I was at home. We didn't have cable television. I was listening to the game, trying to get my cassette recorder to capture the moment live as he was calling that. That was that. My dad and I we love to fish. We aren't hunters, so we'd go out on the boat. We'd plan our fishing nights in the summer around when the Brewers started. There was never music in the boat. It was always Bob. It was Uecker. If the game was on an East Coast and local pitch was 6:30 and we were in the middle of dinner, I'd like, Dad, game's on. We'd run out to the pier and onto the boat up north, and if the game was a 9 o'clock start, we'd go out fishing at 8:30, coming long after dark at 10:30 or 11, because that's when Bob hit the airwaves. And that was in the 90s, mid-90s. Team was terrible. Didn't matter. So
Uecker loved fishing, so absolutely right that you should be listening to Bob Uecker's voice while you're fishing.
Yeah, the little crazy story there on how he got with Usinger's. A lot of people have asked how Usinger's brats became a thing, and there was, another sausage company that will not be named that they asked to just provide sausages on their boat for their charity fishing tournament and stuff like that on Lake Michigan, and they passed at it, and then they went to Usinger's and said, hey, can you guys provide some sausages for the boat, just some hot dogs and stuff like that? And Uecker said, yes. How do we? Yes, of course. And for the next 35 plus years, Usinger's has been, Usinger's in baseball. It's just not summer without him. I mean, that's Uecker's voice that I can hear saying that. And then it's put on a pretzel bun and topped with some crisp kraut. Next thing you know, you got Cedar Crest ice cream in there, and it's a la mode. And next thing, I'm like, Bob, what's the count? I don't know what's going on in the game. It's nothing but just Usinger's and Cedar Crest and everything else. But that's what made Bob the absolute best. He was passionate about our partners, our advertisers, which is what I'm involved with on the sales side of things. But he was the world's greatest entertainer on every night of the week during the summer.
Genuine stories and a genuine storyteller, and preserving that slice of baseball history that evolved so much from the 50s and 60s through today.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I just said, my earliest memories of him were in 1992, but I mean, he won a World Series ring with the St. Louis Cardinals and in the 60s, and he would tell everybody on the air that at the ring ceremony, they threw his ring out into the field to go get it, and he goes, it was great. In the third inning when I found it out there, it was awesome. So yeah, it goes all the way back. He was drafted by the Braves, and he would jokingly say that the signing bonus was $3,000, and his dad said he didn't have that kind of money to put up at the time, because he was joking that he had to pay the Braves $3,000 to go to them, not the other way around. So just story after story, night after night, thousands of games, and not just my generation, but generations of listeners that were affected by Bob. And I really can't wait for 2025 and just all of the tributes we're going to hear this year on the broadcasts, and just how it's going to be. Because if I have all these memories flooding now, on the day that he passed, I just kind of can't wait to just tune in this year and just listen to what's really going to be a remarkably tribute of the year, for a guy that had 2 statues at American Family Field. Hank Aaron, Robin Yount, Bud Selig, we've heard of them. They've got 1 statue. So does Bob. But Bob's got another one inside up in the Uecker seats up there. So for a guy who has 2 statues, 1 more than Hank Aaron and Bud Selig, pretty impressive.
Very solid point by my Good Karma Brands teammate Jared Yuhan and his memories of Bob Uecker. And at the base of one of those statues, there are some flowers and some Miller Lite beer cans in tribute right outside American Family Field. I'm Sandy Maxx, continuing the celebration of the life and legacy of Bob Uecker. Major League memories from the movie set. Behind-the-scenes tales from Ueck's co-star in the broadcast booth, the actor who played Monty the Color Man, Skip Graparis, next on What's on Tap on WTMJ.
I'm Tony Drake from Drake & Associates. Should I delay my Social Security benefits, or should I start taking them right away? The truth is, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. Your decision can impact your income for the rest of your retirement. At Drake & Associates, we help you create a strategy to maximize your benefits so you can make the most of what you've earned. Social Security is just one stop on your retirement-ready roadmap. Take the first step today. Text SS to 414-897-9522 to claim your free retirement toolkit and get a copy of my book, Get Retirement Ready. Don't leave money on the table. Text SS to 414-897-9522.
Drake & Associates is an independent investment advisory firm that offers different investment vehicles. All insurance products are backed by the issuing insurance company. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only.
With the help of Less's Glass, you can have the shower you've always wanted. Heavy glass shower enclosures from Less's Glass are installed by the best in the business. And when you have a showroom to visit with over a dozen glass shower enclosures on display, there's no guessing games. See the ultimate in frameless shower design with doors mounted on smooth as silk, stainless steel barn-style rollers. This design combines the beauty and elegance of heavy glass with a minimalist look to create an ideal shower enclosure for tight spaces. Premium shower doors and custom-designed all-glass enclosures. When you work with Less's Glass, you're working with a company that really can do it all. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
It's the perfect Valentine's heart.
The kind a schoolboy would draw.
It's the most adorable pendant we've ever created.
Innocent, fun-loving, and sweeter than honey.
Cute, cute, cute.
It's cherry red ceramic that's been through the fire.
We've been making ceramic jewelry for thousands of years.
Seriously?
Google it.
But this ceramic heart has things they didn't know about thousands of years ago.
Like what?
Diamonds. 18 of them.
These created diamonds were made for the one who sparkles like the sun.
I can see her in my mind right now.
It's the perfect Valentine's gift.
And it's only $128 at Kessler's.
Monica, what else do we have?
We have 4 different ways to say I love you.
Each pendant is a different shape covered in diamonds.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
An oval.
A square with rounded corners.
A teardrop.
And a heart.
Your choice, just $148 at Kessler's. For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx is back on WTMJ.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Classic line from the movie Major League, where Bob Uecker played the character of Harry Doyle to an absolute T. I'm Sandy Maxx. We are celebrating Bob Uecker, who passed away at the age of 90. And when the Milwaukee Brewers gave away the Harry Doyle bobblehead last summer, it sparked an idea, and I knew that there was one person I wanted to find and reach out to. This is a highlight of that conversation. There is only one person who really got to spend time with Bob Uecker in the Major League movies, and I now roll out the red carpet for actor, musician, entertainer who played Monty the Color Man, Skip Griparis. Skip, welcome.
Hello, Sandy. God, you said my name right. I can't tell you how often it has been butchered.
And what did Bob Uecker call you?
Skip?
He just skipped the last name.
I don't even know if he remembers my last name. You know, he's a busy man.
Well, I wanted to talk with you because as the Hamilton song goes, you were in the room where it happened. You got to sit right next to Bob Uecker for all of the filming for Major League One, and you came back for Major League Two. That is some rarefied air. How many days did you get to spend with Uecker?
Each time it was 3 long days. It was a weekend they would set aside, and the rest of the shooting kind of shut down. And the first movie, which was in old County Stadium, it was June. The weather was awesome. Nobody knew how successful the movie would be. And in the script, I was referred to different things, including Statman.
So your character wasn't really fully fleshed out.
No, I really wasn't sure what I was doing.
How did you get the role?
Auditioning in Chicago. They came to Chicago to flesh out the cast. The first day of shooting, I thought, oh, God, this is so great working with Bob. And he was so nice to me. When we had downtime, sometimes they just send us to another empty broadcast booth, and he would relate baseball anecdotes from Bob Uecker, telling me one-on-one baseball anecdotes. I mean, I was in heaven. But I had no idea. The director didn't say anything to me the whole first day. And I said, oh, geez, I must really suck or something. He's just not saying anything. So he comes up to me the second morning. He said, hey, we just watched the rushes, and you're really funny. And then I just used my instinct, generally to play opposite of Bob's character. He was confident, blustery, and whatever. So I said, well, I don't know how to play dumb. I'll play timid, well-meaning, but a little out of my league. And that seemed to work in contrast with Bob.
Was there ever a moment, some like improv, where you thought, "Oh, I'll get one in," and it didn't go well?
No. I knew my job. I was, as they say in acting, I was the foil. I was the straight man for Bob, and I understood that and welcomed that position there. I was really there to make him look good.
How do you not laugh at some of the things that he said?
It was tough at times, and he created lines on the spot, at least presented it to us. A lot of stuff that he suggested right there wound up in the movie. The one that I can remember that he just came up with was, he's not the best color man in the business for nothing, folks. And that wound up being a big laugh in the movie. I mean, he's ad-libbed like crazy on the radio forever and had to learn dialogue for Belvedere. He's a pro, and he's been on Carson Show and everything, telling baseball anecdotes that I got to hear one-on-one. I was pinching myself at the time, like, this can't be really happening, but it was.
Thank you for sharing your major league moments and that very special time. That was a very special 6 days with Bob Uecker.
Boy, sure was. And I'm indebted to him for being so professional, so funny, and so nice to me. I'll never forget it.
He is Skip Graperis. He played Monty the Color Man in Major League and Major League 2 and got to be right there acting with Bob Uecker. It was really nice for Skip to spend some time. He lives in Illinois and is an entertainer and a musician and a singer. So he's still entertaining. Skip Graperis, thanks for his time together and sharing those memories of Major League, just one of many entertaining projects that the legendary Bob Uecker was part of. Bringing you more meaningful memories of Uke from fans like you when we zip back here on What's on Tap on WTMJ.
And the pitch. Zip. Zip. Was he swinging 3-0? Zip. 3 balls and a strike on Christian.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richland's Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
All right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Manchke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richland's Tire and Service Centers.
Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
We've saved our clients over $19 million in real estate commission. I say this because that's a pretty big number. But at Century 21 Benefit Realty, it's really not about being a top volume agency. Over here, it's more about you. And at 1.9% commission and no more than $19,000 commission, for the listing side of your sale, no matter what size property you're selling, you will save substantially. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx is back on WTMJ.
From Major League, the 1989 comedy movie filmed in Milwaukee in the summer of 1988. Ask around. You probably know someone who spent time at Milwaukee County Stadium as a film extra, and you certainly know someone in your circle who can quote Bob Uecker's character, Harry Doyle, just a bit outside. I'm Sandy Maxx, and on this episode of What's on Tap, we are celebrating Milwaukee Brewers broadcaster and all-around epic entertainer Bob Uecker. And as a Milwaukee Brewers fan and an original Milwaukee Brewers in-game host, I certainly circulate in a group that greatly appreciates Bob Uecker. It is my pleasure to share with you some of that affection, starting with a guy who used to be on the Milwaukee Brewers brew crew with me in my game day host years, Tim Shea.
When I hear the name Bob Uecker, an instant smile comes to my face. I could listen to him talk about baseball all day long if I could. Having the pleasure to work with him for 4 years, every joke and every story that he would tell ended in laughter and tears.
When I hear the name Bob Uecker, I smile. And I know he's known as Mr. Baseball, but for me, he's known as Mr. Joy.
I'm Bob Brainerd, and when I was covering the Brewers for Fox Sports Wisconsin, I wanted to avoid an exchange with Bob Uecker that had us going, Bob. So whenever I did cross paths with Ueck, I would nod and acknowledge him with a Robert. Well, he would grin and return with a, hey, Bobby. And that always made my day.
Hi there, this is Susan Varela. I'm the executive director at Skylight Music Theater here in Milwaukee. And the first thing I think of when I hear the name Bob Uecker is the movie Major League. I was actually cast in the movie, and when I went home to tell my parents, my dad said, well, who's in the movie? And I said, well, Renee Russo and Corbin Burnson and Charlie Sheen. And he was like, uh-huh. And I said, Bob Uecker? And he went, Bob Uecker? That's when he was impressed. It was a thrill to be on set with him and watch his work from afar. I'm still a fan.
What comes to mind most is his home run call. Get up, get out of here, gone.
I think of great baseball players drink light because it's less filling. I know, I asked one. As well as, I must be in the front row.
First thing that comes to mind is his sense of humor. I mean, how many times did he kill it on the Johnny Carson show? And then playing George Owens on Mr. Belvedere while being Mr. Baseball at the same time? And still going strong after 51 years? Wow.
Hi, this is Tony Award winner Anthony Crivello. Bob Uecker. Next to the Crusher, the man who made Milwaukee famous. Known across all of media as Mr. Baseball. When I hear the name Bob Uecker, what comes to mind? There's too many things to mention. Everything from Usinger sausages to his breaking in with the Braves in Milwaukee in 1962. To his special Bob Uecker statue, permanently enshrined in AmFam Field in Section 422. Bob, the city of Milwaukee and all of baseball fans owe you so much. God bless, Bob. We all love you.
John Suntress here. Always been a fan. What I've always loved about you is, even as a Cub fan, and I don't want to upset Milwaukee listeners because I know the last thing you want to hear is from an Illinois person, but it's always been a pleasure listening to you do Brewer games. You're one of a kind, man.
When I hear the name Bob Uecker, I think of a lot of things like Harry Doyle, just a bit outside, Miller Lite commercials, must be in the front row, and the countless, I think 100 times or more that he appeared on the Johnny Carson show. Deadpan delivery, comic genius. Just love Bob Uecker. And of course, being an old dude, I remember Bob Uecker as a baseball player. I was a big St. Louis Cardinal fan, and only one time a year could we make the long trip to St. Louis to see a ball game, and I would look in the paper and I'd try to figure out the starting rotation and who was going to be pitching that day, and I kept hoping and hoping and hoping that it would not be Bob Uecker. I was a big Tim McCarver fan, and I wanted to see the starting lineup. I didn't want to see any of these subs coming in, and at that time, of course, he was a sub. But Bob Uecker, what a life, what a legend. His photo with Bob Gibson in 1964, the team photo, he's holding hands with Bob Gibson. Hilarious. Someday they'll do a movie about you, Bob, and I think they should call it Tuba in the Outfield.
When I hear the name Bob Uecker, I think of one word: funny. Born and raised in Milwaukee, I listen to Brewers games on WTMJ with Merle Harmon and Bob Uecker like everybody else. And I wondered why Bob would tell rambling stories about his time in baseball and other things that happened in his life. Then years later, I saw him on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and those very same stories were polished, and he delivered them with his dry wit and sense of humor that he had, and the place went nuts. I know how much hard work went into it. So it helped me as a professional comedian see behind the scenes of what goes into being funny. And every time I've seen him, whether on TV, on the WWF WrestleMania, on his sitcom, Mr. Belvedere, he was always funny. He's natural. He's got it in him. And to play Major League Baseball on top of that is a real achievement. Bob Uecker is a treasure, not only for Milwaukee, but for the United States of America.
It's tough to say bye to Bob. I'm Sandy Maxx. You're listening to What's on Tap, and as we learned that Bob Uecker passed away after fighting privately cancer, and you heard the voices of Uecker fans. We are celebrating his life. Tim Shea, Denise Wilkie, Bob Brainerd, Susan Varela, Stephanie Walters, Jason Pinkowski, Kelly Shears, Anthony Crivello, John Center, Spiff Carner, and Dobie Maxwell were heard there. Uecker sings next on What's on Tap.
While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
Those big stores that are in shopping centers have been losing stores, losing customer traffic as people switch to online sources.
Entertainment.
A new movie out that features a chimp in the main role, but it's not Planet of the Apes.
And more.
I said, all right, in 1 year, I'm going to deliver all of you a novel.
Every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ.
By now, you've probably figured out what's most important to us at Semperfi is our reputation. Building a great character-driven remodeling company is actually quite easy. It's just the first 20 years that are a bit challenging. Great companies are collections of great people, and we have great people. They're the ones that helped us build our reputation, but they only come after you've built something they want to be part of. We don't necessarily have to look for good people. They come to us. And that's what you want when you hire an exterior remodeling company. Someone who's going to stand behind their work, and a company that is truly proud of their people. And it's because they do great work. And when you're ready, we'll do great work for you too. This is Brad Youngluth with Semperfi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semperfi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Hey, business owners, are you looking to sell your business? I'm sure you have plenty of questions. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me for our latest Annex Wealth Management webinar. I'll be joined by Brandon Lehman and Brian Lamborn from Annex Wealth Management as we answer your questions. Who should you consult? And of course, when is the best time for you to sell your business? Sign up for this free webinar on Wednesday, January 29th. Text WEB to 855-616-1620 to sign up for the free webinar. Only here on WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. And now, feast your ears. This is the song you need to hear.
Most blokes are going to be playing at 10. These go to 11.
Hi, this is Tony Award winner Anthony Crivello. Bob Uecker, known across all of media as Mr. Baseball. Bob sang on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson on October 8th, 1986. My kind of town, Chicago is. Even Sinatra couldn't top this one.
My kind of town. My kind of town? Yeah. My kind of town, Chicago is. My kind of town, Chicago is. My kind of people, too. People who smile at you, and each time I roam, Chicago is calling me home. And like I said, I don't want to do the whole song. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. October 7th. We've only been in October 17th? 17th, yeah. Bowling for me. Well, you're not trained as a professional singer. It's quite well, goes without saying. Like I said, I don't have my accompanist. Of course. I've only been in rehearsal for 6 weeks, so I was a little rough, and he missed a couple of notes. So. Anyway, we'll all look forward, some of us will look forward to it. Well, I get better as the show goes on, too. Well, sure, sure. But you do what, 1 or 2 numbers? I do actually 4 numbers. You got to be kidding. You've got to be kidding. Now, 4 numbers, and yeah, it's record label people are calling already. I'll bet you they are. I asked to put my feet in the cement down at some Chinese restaurant. Yeah. Boy, it's so hard dodging those cars in the street.
A highlight of over 100 appearances Bob Uecker made on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, because Carson was just as entertained and charmed by Uecker as many of us are. I'm Sandy Maxx. Thank you for joining me for this special episode of What's on Tap, the baseball song inspired by Uecker, by this Wisconsin musician and Whammy Hall of Famer.
Hey, this is Willie Porter. I'm so grateful that I grew up listening to baseball on the radio with my dad in the garage, working on old race cars and all kinds of house projects. That was my introduction really to what baseball could be, how people could see it. And the game was made visual by Bob Uecker's voice as he came into our garage as we worked on these projects together. I'll forever be grateful for that. Bob, you're an American treasure.
Had a Chevy V8 with Naugahyde seats. Family station wagon, 1973. We were driving to the store, Bob Uecker calling the place. Just a 9-year-old kid, my dad had nothing to say, nothing. I asked him, what do we need? He said, I don't know. Well, why did we drive to Sears? He said, it's good to hear some baseball on the radio. And for now, your mother's not here. For now, your mother's not here. We had baseball on the radio. Baseball on the radio. It'll unwind your mind. You can let it all go. Baseball on the radio. Now we're planting some shrubs. My kids are working for cash. Radio says the pitcher just brushed him back. just a little chin music backed him out of the bar. Euchre's weaving a story like he's knitting some socks, yeah. Well, the book is always better than the movie. I see the pitch in my mind as it goes. Spilled paint in the garage and it's clean up triage. 2-1, come on, Brewers, let's go. 2-1, come on, Brewers, let's go. Get up, get out of here, gone. The ball lit up, vanished like a song. Now everybody's laughing, dancing along. Baseball on the radio. Yeah, baseball on the radio. Baseball on the radio. Baseball on the radio. If I'm feeling down, nothing brings me around like baseball on the radio. Makes America great, a sliding for home plate. Jazz and blues and rock and roll. It's a big old lot of crap gumbo with a neighbor that you really don't know.
I don't have to tell you that a lot of dust and other junk collects in your ductwork. And it doesn't just sit there. It's blowing around in your home. And that jeopardizes your home health. The commercial industrial duct cleaning system we use at Quality darn near sucked the shirt right off our tech the first time he used it. Believe me, not everybody has this powerful of a system. It's unlike any other. At Quality, you get the best duct cleaning, period. So call Quality first for your duct cleaning needs.
For the signature service you deserve.
Whether it's 24/7 emergency service or it's just time to replace your furnace, at Quality we'll be out so fast you won't even notice the heat being off. And if you're buying a high-efficiency furnace from Armstrong or Carrier, you'll qualify for state and federal tax rebates that'll pay for a big chunk of the cost. This is Anthony Zanevsky from Quality, where you'll get the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy, and it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. At BBC, we sell all the top brands of lights and ceiling fans, such as Visual Comfort, Tech, Schoenbeck Crystal, and hundreds more. We get every brand, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. In our award-winning